So welcome to the Barclays Premier League podcast. We're at matchday 32 for most teams, and this podcast will cover Friday through Sunday's results in the Barclays Premier League. I've now decided to continue with a podcast till the end of the season to cut down on the time, basically, to prepare these uploads. For most platforms, it's still going to be an MP4 upload, but for Anchor and those affiliated podcasts, it will be a straight MP3 download and upload. Let's start with Friday's match then. Fulham at home to Wolves. Fulham third from bottom, desperate for points. Wolves, well, they're not exactly completely safe. They are looking over their shoulders, and their form has been, well, to say the least, a bit unpredictable. I saw brief highlights of this. It was pretty competitive. Fulham certainly had more than their share of possession, but still found wanting in front of goal. Wolves were denied a Jose header following some good work by Podence into the second half, but it was marginally offside by VAR. But the Fulham defence could do nothing with this breakaway in the final minute, and Adama Traore, hustling through into the box, hit a smacking shot that whistled past the Fulham goalkeeper. Didn't have a hell in high waters chance of keeping it out, and so Wolves had snatched the win right at the death, and more misery for Paul Parker. Certainly a point lost, but really he probably would have viewed this as 3 points lost. Nuno Espirito Santo delighted to come away with all 3 points here, which relieves some of the pressure on him. So final score, Fulham 0, Wolves 1. Saturday's action now. The early kickoff was at the Etihad. Manchester City versus Leeds. Very open, fast-paced game in the first half hour. City were on top, but Leeds, as always dangerous on the counter. And then on 41 minutes, Leeds took the lead. A Dallas strike on the edge of the box after Bamford had set him up, and this is how, when following possession being lost by City just inside their own half. So it was 1-0 for Leeds. 2 minutes later, though, an incident that would have a dramatic effect on the rest of the game. Cooper was sent off for a very robust challenge. Following through, he caught Jesus high on his knee, and although he got the ball, it was deemed rather dangerous, and on close examination by VAR and the referee, the red eventually appeared, and so Leeds were down to 10. So half time, Leeds 1 up, but 10 men. Second half, it was all City. Eventually, on 75 minutes, Torres, a crisp shot, hits the corner after some incessant pressure across that line in front of the penalty box, and City had finally got the breakthrough and had levelled things up. It was still all City. Leeds were desperately hanging on for the point now, 9 men behind the ball as such. And then on into added time, a quick breakaway by Leeds, and Dallas managed to outpace the defence and poke the ball between Edison's legs and into the back of the net, and amazingly Leeds had taken the lead. Well, no chance to respond to that for Guardiola's men, and so an absolutely terrific result for Bielsa, although he had to admit in interview that they were completely dominated. But anyway, so a slight delay really on the champions-elect picking up that trophy. It's probably not going to mean a great difference to the final outcome. But final score at the Etihad: Manchester City 1, Leeds United 2. To Anfield now, Liverpool home to Aston Villa. The reverse fixture earlier in the season, of course, led to that catastrophic 7-2 win by Villa against the champions. And it was a stubborn first half by Villa, and they actually took the lead on 42 minutes. The goalkeeper Alisson slightly at fault here, but Ollie Watkins converted, and that was 1-0. 46 minutes though, Firmino chipped home after Jota was set up by Robertson's shot, and it looked like that was going to be the equaliser. However, the VAR official had a good look at it and he chalked it off for offside. 56 minutes, finally, Liverpool, who had been pretty dominant in their chase for an equaliser, and Robertson again involved. His shot was saved by Martinez, but Salah gobbled up the follow-up, and that was a 1-1. Then time running out now, but constant pressure on the Villa goal, and Alexander-Arnold on the edge of the box hit an absolutely delightful drive from the edge of the box, and it went whistled past Martinez, and that was 2-1 to the Reds. So an encouraging result from Liverpool after that reverse in Madrid in the week. Still hopes of a top four finish for Klopp. Final score at Anfield: Liverpool 2, Aston Villa 1. Final game on Saturday's action: Chelsea visited Selhurst Park, and this game, well, Chelsea, of course, a great result in the week, getting a 2-0 in Portugal in the Champions League, and they continued where they left off really. Havertz was on target after 7 minutes inside the box from a corner, 1-0 to the Blues. And 2 minutes later, a great team goal. This time Pulisic hit a strike after some good work by Chilwell and Havertz. That was 2-0. On the half hour, Zuma headed in a Mount free kick, and Chelsea were running right through Palace, and they were 3-0 up. That was the score at the break. Palace got one back on 62 minutes when Benteke, a forceful header from Slot's cross, made it 3-1. But 77 minutes, Pulisic, far too quick at the back post, chips in James Cross for 4-1. Absolutely delighted to go, and Chelsea looking very strong indeed. Palace, well, pretty miserable performance, and Hodgson made that quite clear on interview. This is a great boost of confidence for Chelsea going into their return leg in the Champions League. They were back up to 4th at that particular time now in the Premier League. Final score at Selhurst Park: Crystal Palace 1, Chelsea 4. Moving on to Sunday's fixtures then. The early kick-off, 12 o'clock at UK, 6 p.m. here in Thailand, was the bottom of the table clash between Burnley at home to Newcastle. Newcastle had probably their two best players sitting on the bench, returning from injury, Callum Wilson and Alan St. Maximin. And the first half, it was pretty clear that they really desperately needed some creativity. Vidra opened the scoring on 17 minutes, and this followed some good work from Chris Wood, who got to the byline. However, Newcastle defenders seemed to go missing, and Vidra was left all along to prod it past Dubrovka. 37 minutes, there was a claim by Newcastle for a penalty following a high boot by Tarkowski, which clipped Longstaff's nose, I think. And it looked a pretty clear penalty for dangerous play, but VAR didn't see it that way, and so Newcastle didn't get what they felt they deserved, and we went into the break with 1-0 to Burnley. 58 minutes though, Bruce made the change. St Maximin came on, and Wilson for Joe Linton, and I think it was Gale, who was playing up front. And within minutes, probably less than 2 minutes, St Maximin running down the right hand side, causing absolute havoc, and he laid the ball off for Murphy, whose sweet shot hit the corner, and that was 1-1. 2 minutes later, and St Maximin collected the ball just inside Burnley's half. He started to weave his magic, and basically they couldn't lay a finger on him. He eventually created a yard of space on the edge of the box, and he hit a sweet left foot shot wide of the keeper, and that was 2-1 to Newcastle. It has to be said that after that there wasn't a lot of response from Burnley. They seemed to run out of gas, and Newcastle were quite content to hang on. And that's how it finished. A great result for Steve Bruce. That certainly lifts the pressure on him. So final score at Turf Moor, Burnley 1 and Newcastle 2. Next up was the top of the table clash. Well, certainly fourth against. Sorry, I've got that wrong. It wasn't fourth. West Ham, who were currently in fifth, they were currently in sixth. Let's get it right. Following wins for Liverpool and Chelsea, were at home to third place Leicester. So certainly it had the feel of a vital match for both these sides, who are looking to play Champions League football next season. It was a fairly even first 20 minutes, but then the game exploded on 28 minutes. A bit of overlap down the right by Sofel. He cut inside and pushed the ball across to the edge of the penalty area, and Jesse Lingard caught it on the volley, and it whistled past Schmeichel, and that was 1-0 to the Hammers. And then Leicester were caught out again on 43 minutes with a ball over the top. Again, Bowen alone on the right, and he squares the ball, to Lingard, who was running at a hell of a pace to catch up with play. The goalkeeper had come out, and so basically Lingard then had all he had to do was prod it into an empty net, and that was it. 2-0, 2 for Lingard. West Ham looking really good. Into the second half, 2 minutes in, and Bowen finishes off a great move from West Ham after Leicester lost possession. Lingard and Souček involved, and that was 3-0 to the Hammers. But 53 minutes, a Lingard cross found Diop at the far post, but it was ruled offside. Good finish, but it remained 3-0. And then the Leicester fight back. 69 minutes, a snapshot from Iniacha went in the corner for 3-1, and in added time, Iniacha got his brace to cause a few heart flutters in the final moments. But West Ham hung on. Moyes was delighted, although not happy with the giving away of those 2 late goals. Final score, though, at the London Stadium was West Ham 3, Leicester 2, and that put West Ham into 4th in the Premier League. So the third match on Sunday, this was at White Hart Lane, the new White Hart Lane. Spurs at home to Manchester City. You may recall early in the season at Old Trafford, Spurs gave United a real pasting. I think it was 6-2 or something like that. It was never going to be that this time. And fairly level first half hour. Then on 33 minutes, Pogba, who's looking better and better by each game, set up Cavani with a neat pass, and Cavani blasted the shot past Lloris, and it all looked like that was one up to the Red Devils. However, VAR had spotted an incident just before the ball was laid to Pogba involving McTominay and Son. Son tried to grab his shirt. McTominay flicked his arm at Son. It hit him in the face, and Son fell down like a deck of cards. And the VAR decided that the referee needed to have a look, and yet it got chalked off for violent play. It looked at something and nothing really, but it remained goalless. And then 6 minutes later, of course, Spurs capitalised on this with a really sweeping move involving Moura and Kane, and the culprit Son managed to finish it off in a delightful fashion to put Spurs 1-up. That was the score at the break. But then 56 minutes, United deservedly got their equaliser from Fred. He was involved in the build-up, a number of 1-2s, and he then managed to follow up from a Cavani shot that was parried by Lloris and slotted the ball home, and that was 1-1. Into minute 78, and a tremendous cross from the right by Fernandes, and a diving header for Cavani went whistled past Lloris, and that was 2-1 to United. Final seconds of the match, Greenwood finished off another really good on the eye move by United. His ferocious shot was far too strong for Lloris at Lloris's near post, and United had pulled it round once again. And they'd done it in style, to be honest, and Paul Pogba looking fine throughout. And I've really got to eat my words about him, because we're seeing the best football from Paul Pogba that we have had at Old Trafford or at Man United since his arrival. Final score then, at the new White Hart Lane, Spurs 1 and Manchester United 3. And on interview, Solskjaer was not happy with Son's behaviour with regard to that chalked off goal. Mourinho acknowledged the opponent, as he put it. He praised his players probably more than they deserved, but he kept his opinions really to himself about the disallowed goal. But anyway, another defeat for Spurs. Their top four chances are slipping away. Manchester United consolidating second now. Final score at the new Hart Lane, Spurs 1, Manchester United 3. Final game at Bramall Lane on Sunday. Sheffield United home to Arsenal. On paper this looked like it was going to be an inevitable win for the Gunners, and it turned out like that. And the star of the show was Lacazette, who's now the club captain. A neat team move. He finished it off for 1-0 on 32. Martinelli in the side. Didn't see anything of Aubameyang. I'm not quite sure where he's gone, but Martinelli followed up a Ramsdale save from Pepe to make it 2-0, and then another goal on 86 minutes by Lacazette. This was a particularly classy finish, through ball from Parquet, 3-0. Pretty easy game for Arsenal in preparation for their Europa League match in Prague next week. For Sheffield United, well, the story's been written, and this really is no more than an addendum. Final score then at Bramall Lane: Sheffield United 0, Arsenal 3. And as I say, there are 2 games coming up on Monday night, and I'm at liberty to say that I know that Everton are involved and Brighton are involved, and I'm trying desperately to remember what other matches, what other teams haven't played this weekend yet, but it'll obviously come to me at a later date. But anyway, that's my roundup. So I thought I'd just tag this on. West Brom playing Southampton tonight. Brighton are at home to Everton. So some important fixtures there at the bottom of the table. And a quick look at the Premier League table as it stands at the moment. Manchester City played 32, 74 points. Manchester United 63 points, are played 31. They're 7 in front of Leicester, who are on 56. West Ham played 31, 55 points. And then the chasing pack, Chelsea are a point behind West Ham, played the same game, 31. And Liverpool, same number of games played, and they're 2 further points back on 52. Spurs are in 7th on 49. Everton on 47, and Arsenal up to 9th now with 45. Leeds are also there on 45, and Villa are down to 11th with 44. At the bottom of the table, Fulham have got 26 and 32, West Brom 21 from 30, and Sheffield just a measly 14 from 31. Newcastle still 4th from bottom, but they're 6th better than Fulham, and they've got a game in hand, and they've got the same points count as Brighton, and 1 point ahead of that are Burnley in 15th with 33 points. So that's your summary of the Barclays Premier League for this week.